All right, so I bought this machine and created this protocol with some very good friend and technicians. Siemens has been very helpful. I want you guys to see as much of this as possible because I'll turn the gains up and bring this down. With this ultrasound, I can see the pipes. I can just like this. So I can see the lining on the artery walls. I can see all of it. So I'm going to spend a minute acquiring the test, and you guys can watch me take the protocol. I don't mind sharing my medical information. So we are going to choose the limited carotid protocol. I'm going to take a picture of the demographics just so I know I have it. Now I start my protocol. We're going to do the limited carotid where I do some velocities. Transverse. Get a sagittal view here. IMT. I'm going to measure the lining. This machine measures it at 0.534. I'm going to get a picture of the blood flowing. And then a velocity. Right common. My peak velocity is 90. You shouldn't really worry about how fast your blood's going until it's 150 or 125. You could start, but 150, 200, it's really starting to whip. And the reason we measure the blood, I'm going to go up to the bifurcation. Here you can see it split into two. Big one feeds the brain, little one feeds the nose and face. All of these images will be on the report for later, so bear with me. I got to get a transverse view of this artery, and because I scan myself often, I know I have a little thickening right here. I will talk to you more about the blood spinning. Blood flow isn't even. And if you think it is, then you're mistaken. Every time the artery splits, every bifurcation, some tumbling happens. Tumbling, so that blood spins. Now, nobody ever really tells you why that spinning blood hurts you. And nobody ever tells you why cholesterol is bad. Well, cholesterol has these really dense LDL molecules, right? Internal carotid artery. These dense LDL molecules that when they spin as the blood pumps, they irritate the wall. They get stuck inside the lining of the artery. Measure ICA, internal carotid artery, peak velocity is 66. That's fine. Now I'm going to take some more pictures of the intima and tag them intima. So the AI machine, the AI bot, will measure it right the second I upload it. Get it from different angles. I want a good, reliable measurement. All right, left side. Take out the gel. Goop the probe. And left common, transverse. Get the artery all straight up here. Measure left IMT. Now, the reason I measure it on the box and online is this is an FDA approved caliper. The software on ultrasound machines is standardized, but I just want to make sure. So we measure each one of these with 3 different tools. And you'll have access to all of that. Measure the speed. All right, my peak left common carotid artery peak velocity is 108. And its lowest is at 30 centimeters. So that's 108 centimeters a second. That's a good, strong, I think, good, strong heartbeat. Left bulb. All right, it splits into two. And I do know I have inflammation here. So let's take a look at it. So the intima is a thin membrane along the layers of the artery. It's alive. It exchanges nitric oxide with the blood. And there's all these chemical processes we learn about. But the inflammation caused in the intima Come on, I'm a technician. I can get a good picture of this. I want to show you the inflammation and the blood at the same time. All right, that means I got to come around behind the muscle because it needs to be a little bit deeper to get the image I want. So to make it deeper, there we go. There's the internal. I want to show that inflammation that's a little more lateral. Perfect. Save. All right, I got a picture of that plaque. Now I want a good picture of the inflammation for myself, and I'll show you. Cardiovascular disease, there's a couple different ways it happens. You have atherosclerosis and arteriosclerosis. Athero, well, one is the plaque, and the other is the inflammation. Plaques are like localized bumps or blisters or regions. The inflammation in the artery walls is more systemic. So at this test, we're looking at both. All right, ICA. Let's show a picture of that nice and clean. Save. All right. I'm taking a picture. You can see the blood kind of spinny, and then it evens out again. I think it's so funny that the way the medical system's set up is we were sold a professional technician would laugh at me for not inverting this, but actually there's an invert right there. And scale. Whatever. 121 in the internal carotid. Now we're going back to the intima pictures. Right there. There's the lining. My works is completed. Sweet. I take a picture of the measurements of the intima that I took. I'm going to hit save and save. Those are there. And I'm going to hit end exam. And it's going to upload through the magic of the internet to our database. So this is the exciting fun part. We're going to measure this together. All right, to finish my last point about cholesterol, statin class drugs, Lipitor, Crestor, rosuvastatin, all of those drugs, to pass the FDA, they had to prove efficacy. And to prove efficacy, they had to show that the intima, that lining, got thinner, and that the plaques, which have a life cycle, plaque has a life cycle. They start out soft and gooey, and over time, like a blister, over time they will become more we call it mineralized, or it'll become more stiff. It'll start to have structure inside of it. And then when it's totally healed, it'll be a scar, a calcified scar, and you can break it with some effort in it if you ever have been to a cadaver lab. But all right, I'm now going to share my screen if I can figure this out. We're going to measure this together. All